I never imagined that the quietest words could bring down everything I once believed was unshakable. It was one of those deceptively calm Sunday nights, the kind that feels like a soft exhale after a long week, where everything slows just enough to hear your own thoughts and realize how hollow they've become. The sky outside was washed in fading indigo, the house steeped in silence except for the low hum of the heater and the occasional creak of old wood. You'd think that sort of peace would be comforting. But peace when your heart is weary can feel like a trap. My closest friend, Maya, dropped by unannounced that evening. She had a strange talent for showing up when my soul needed companionship more than my mouth could admit. We settled into the living room like we had countless times before. The same slouched cushions, the same worn throw blanket, the familiar wine glasses clinking gently between us. A single lamp cast a warm amber glow, softening the hard edges of everything, including the ache in my chest I'd tried to ignore for months. As far as I knew, my husband, Adam, was upstairs, probably knee-deep in one of his endless storage room projects. Fixing something. Organizing. Disappearing into his own distractions. Lately, that was how we existed, parallel lives under the same roof. We functioned like roommates on autopilot. Dinners eaten in silence, bills split and paid, short exchanges about grocery lists and weather forecasts. It wasn't toxic. Just the silence between us had turned into its own unspoken language. A language made of glances that lingered too long on the floor, of half-smiles that never reached our eyes. And that night the illusion cracked. "I don't know anymore, Maya," I whispered, pressing my fingers into my temples as if the pressure could contain the storm behind my eyes. "Some days, I wish I hadn't married him." The words didn't explode. They simply fell, heavy, undeniable. And with them, something in me unraveled. Maya froze, her glass halfway to her lips. "No, you don't mean that," she said too quickly, her voice sharp with alarm. But I did. At least some tired, threadbare version of me did. I loved Adam. Or maybe I had. But that love had shifted. It wasn't vibrant anymore. It didn't light me up. It had become a routine, an obligation I upheld out of memory, not desire. And somewhere in the hallway, cloaked in shadows, Adam heard every word. I didn't see him. Didn't hear the stairs creak. But later, I would imagine him frozen in place, maybe one foot still on a step, listening to the woman he built a life with quietly whisper that she wished she hadn't. The next morning, it was the absence I felt first. The coffee maker didn't hiss and sputter. The usual clink of his keys wasn't there. His boots, the pair he always aligned side by side like a soldier's ritual, were gone. First, I rationalized it. Maybe he left early. A trip to the hardware store, perhaps. But the gnawing unease crept in like a cold draft. Adam always said goodbye, even on our worst days. Especially on those days. By noon, panic had fully bloomed. Called. No answer. Texted. No reply. I sat at the kitchen table staring at my phone like it might unlock the truth by sheer willpower. And then, a notification. An email. From Adam Warren. Subject, goodbye. My heart stopped. With trembling fingers, I opened it. "I heard you last night. I wasn't meant to, but I did. And what I heard, it wasn't rage or cruelty. It was your truth. A truth you couldn't say to me, so you said it to her. I gave everything I had. Kept showing up. Kept trying. But I won't stay where I'm merely tolerated. Please don't look for me. The papers are already filed. I'm not angry. Just done being someone's regret. Adam." I stared at the screen until my vision blurred, reading those words over and over. There was no venom, no chaos, just a quiet, decisive goodbye. The kind that doesn't come from impulse, but from a final, long-held knowing. I raced to his office building, desperate to find him to explain something. Anything. But the receptionist told me he'd resigned earlier that morning. Cleaned out his desk. Left no forwarding details. His phone. Disconnected. Social media. As though he had peeled himself out of the life we shared and stepped into some invisible elsewhere. That afternoon, a courier arrived with the divorce papers. Every line filled. Every box checked. His signature, bold and unwavering, already in place. My presence wasn't required. Only my compliance. I waited for the anger to come. For denial to rise like a tide. But all I felt was a sinking, unbearable ache. Not just for losing Adam, but for how I'd let us fade. For how I'd spoken my truth into a room I thought was safe, not realizing I was breaking the man who had once made me feel like the center of his world. I thought of the little things. The way he used to write me notes on sticky pads, always with a sketch of a sun or a dumb joke. The way he warmed up the car for me in winter. How he rubbed my shoulders when he thought I was asleep. He hadn't stopped trying. I had stopped noticing. And the most brutal part. I never even said those words to him. I said them about him. That kind of betrayal, quiet, unintentional, and unspoken, cuts deeper than any fight. It wasn't a heat-of-the-moment explosion. It was a mirror held up to a love that had withered without either of us screaming. Weeks passed. Then months. I tried to track him down. Hired a private investigator. Nothing. No new lease agreements. No bank activity. Adam had disappeared with surgical precision. Not to punish me, but to reclaim his peace. And now I lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering where he is. If he's smiling again. If someone else gets to brush shoulders with him in the kitchen while the coffee brews, laughing at his terrible puns. Because he was the best decision I ever made. I just realized it far too late. Adam didn't leave with rage. He left with clarity. And the echo of one careless sentence, the sentence I will carry for the rest of my life, still haunts this house like a ghost I can't exorcise.